I've said in one of my videos that the world has reached its deficit. Industries like the retail industry and the fast food industry are crumbling, and it's no different with the music business. And I'm here for it, because the commodification of music has soured. Music used to be something you enjoyed, and now it's hard because the bar has been lowered in the quality department. A lot of people are also turned off and not supporting today's music, as the veil of secrecy and fake facades of the industry has been lifted more and more each year. We are also seeing the industry for what it is, just another form of the 9 to 5. With the rise of the internet and the cheapening of music, i.e. the music crash in the 2000s, we were indoctrinated to view this as a bad thing, but now I am convinced this is good. In this video, I'll be blabbering about the music industry and how it's crumbling before our eyes, how your faves are doing whatever they can to make ends meet, like the rest of us, and I'll tell you how all of this is a good thing for everyone. I'm Don, your pop culture boy. Let's get into it.
Catastrophic.
I want to first talk about how the industry has changed. Money used to be long. Performers, singers, rappers lived lavish lifestyles, partying with Diddy, having a good old funky time. And you'd see this on your TV back in the day and wish you too could be a part of that. Back in the day, the major artists made a lot more money from their music. The music industry had a lot more control back in the days of physicals, when the public valued music. However, after physical sales crashed in the 2000s, the music business hasn't been the same. There were lots of layoffs, which is still happening to this day. Some artists faded into obscurity, as entire teams and departments at the labels were downsized or completely obliterated, causing projects to fall by the wayside. That's why Dirty Diddy ventured into television, because the music wasn't selling. The glory days of the 90s were over. His record label Bad Boy wasn't as poppin'. It was no longer a hit factory. Biggie passed, and who didn't pass was in prison. That's why he joined the Making the Band as an executive producer. Not because he gives a damn about artists, but he knew people would watch. And at that time, reality TV was at its peak. So for Diddy, it was an opportunity for a different stream of income, because the industry is going downhill. So he made Danny D. Kane to only destroy them in the end, after he made his money, allegedly. Also, I was today's years old finding out he tried to revive Making the Band in 2021, where he would have his sons be the judges. For obvious reason, that didn't happen.
All of your favorite artists are finito and finished. I don't think none of these people are making any coin from the music business.
Now, despite reports that sales for music revenue has increased due to streaming, artists are still not making money from it. Prior to the streaming era, music lovers had to buy an album for an average amount of maybe 12 USD, and sometimes maybe 3 of their favorite artists released that month, which would cost $36, compared to the more cost-efficient monthly plan, which can be as low as $5.99 a month, allowing you to listen to as much music and as much albums as you want within that period. And platforms like Spotify, they even have a free subscription, causing artists today to make pennies. So although streaming is convenient, it doesn't hit the pockets of these artists the same like physicals. According to Billboard, Beyonce made $62 million in 2016. However, only $4.3 million and $1.9 million respectively hail from music sales and streaming. 2016 is also the year Beyonce released her ground-shattering album, Lemonade. So even for major artists, it's kind of slim out here when it comes to money being made from streaming. So you can only imagine how much smaller acts make from their streams, as everyone from these platforms are getting paid from the same pool. But more on Beyonce in a bit. With how little streaming makes, no wonder why labels have to prioritize certain artists more than others. Because if most major acts' albums are barely going platinum, why even make an album anymore? That's why people don't make albums and just rather release singles and EPs. It already costs a lot to make music. Now, does it have to? Not really, but in the industry with multiple mouths to feed, everyone has to be included. That's what makes it an industry. The money is just not coming in like it used to. That's why labels are forcing their artists to sign 360 deals. So labels are now getting a piece of everything, causing artists to make less money.
So I have to go in the studio, I got to book studio time, and you may not get a song in the first session. So now I got to keep doing that, and that's money. And then I have to hire an engineer, and that's money. And I got to feed everybody, that's money. And then when I make the song, I have to finish it. That's money. Some more studio sessions. Now I've brought in another producer. Now I got to pay that producer, pay this producer. We got to negotiate. So now that's lawyers. That's money. And now I got to mix it. That's money per song. Now that's 14 songs on this album. The last album was 19. So, you know, let's say, and I posted something like this on my page and people argue with me about it. So studios typically for a 12-hour block is $1,200. Then the session engineer is $75 to $100 an hour. So just add that up. Say you do 7 sessions a week. It's $10,000 just on sessions. And then mixing anywhere from $2,500 to $10,000 a track. That's 19 tracks. So that's $100,000, just rounding it.
Yo, your math is impeccable, by the way.
Just rounding it.
Okay.
That's horrible math. I'm not, but, you know, just think about that. So now you're already at 120. And now you got to pay for the beats. So they're anywhere from $5,000 to $40,000 a track, depending on who you're working with. And sometimes there's multiple producers. So you got to pay this fee, this fee, this fee, this fee. Times 14. So $400,000 at the top end. So let's just say 250 plus 120. Now you're already at 300,000. That eliminates 75% of the people who are aspiring. I didn't realize how much money that it takes to actually be an artist. This is before you market. This is before you shoot a video. This is before you do an appearance. And now also I'm a female.
Are these things that you learned when you launched your own label, or was this already on your radar?
So this is all stuff that I realized in real time as I was launching Supergiant.
Now, this part doesn't only apply to musicians, but celebrities in general. But back when the money was moneying and people placed a lot more value and prestige on celebrity, you couldn't tell them nothing because the value of fame was so high back then. A lot of them thought their shit could make tasty patty. Around the internet boom and YouTube getting popular, like say 2007, you wouldn't catch a lot of these celebrities on YouTube, mainly for actors and some musicians, compared for their reason being on YouTube then to now, meaning back then they would just stick to music related content like music videos, interviews, or touring, or behind the scenes. Twitter did open some celebrities up to social media where they would try to be regular, but YouTube, you wouldn't catch them on YouTube in that state at all. YouTube was for regular people. Celebrities turned their noses down on the internet because there wasn't any money in it, or it was just too cheap. By the way, the internet in general is cheap compared to traditional media like television, billboards, magazine spreads, print. But now, because the money in the industry is drying up, we are now seeing artists starting cooking channels, doing mukbangs, doing storylines. Look at Will Smith, one of Hollywood's biggest names. Like, he's really just a glorified social media influencer now. T-Pain, the poppin' rapper from the 2000s, he's now just a streamer, ranting and raving like myself. We are seeing these streamers blowing up to the point where rappers rather go on their platforms for interviews and promotion runs instead of the respectable publication. Rapper Nicki Minaj, she went on Kai Cenat's streams to promote her last album. Also Offset and 21 Savage went on Kai's stream as well. Tyla as well, and Ice Spice, who I'll talk a bit more further in the video. Even the boring comedian Kevin Hart is invading the streamer space for clout. The money is not as strong as it used to be, forcing these celebrities to do things that they wouldn't do 10 to 15 years ago. And I know Tyla and Ice Spice came out a few years ago, but if they debuted back in the day, you wouldn't catch them on the internet, only on regular social media like Instagram or Facebook, being all demure. I hope I use that in the right context because I am 80 years old and I can't keep up with these slangs and new terms. Now, hit songs are not hitting the same and are not lasting as long as they used to, meaning a song will debut at number 1, then fall out of the top 10 the following week. And these are major songs, great songs. But songs don't peak at number 1 consecutively, consistently as they once did. Yes, and a song by pop singer Ariana Grande had a huge release, debuting at number 1 on the Hot 100 back in January, but it only spent 1 week atop the chart. And yes, the song went platinum, but normally an Ariana Grande number 1 sells more than that. And it was certified in June, a number 1 song. So songs are also taking a longer time to go platinum. Ariana had another song that peaked at number 1 for 2 weeks, We Can't Be Friends. Megan Thee Stallion's Hiss spent only 1 week atop the Hot 100, one of the biggest diss tracks of the year. Kanye's Carnival spent 1 week atop the chart. Beyonce's Texas Hold'em summited for 2 weeks only. Taylor Swift, the biggest artist in the world, her song Fortnite also did just 2 weeks. Sabrina Carpenter, this year's rising star, stayed at number 1 for 1 week with her song Please Please Please. Grand opening, grand closing. What I'm also realizing in today's music scene is that artist relevance isn't lasting either, and it's because of streaming. Number 1, streaming is easily manipulated. Physicals as well, but not to the high degree like streaming. Back in the day on release date, an artist, some of them would buy their own records to give it away in a, celebration type of way. But with streams, apparently streams can be bought to make an artist appear bigger than he actually is. Back in July, No Jumper reported that Megan Thee Stallion had 3 million streams removed from her last album by Spotify due to suspicious bot behavior detection. That sent Nicki Minaj and Tory Lanez online minions into a feeding frenzy. And it's not just Megan. There's a lot more major artists that have been accused of faking their streams. Kanye West, Don Toliver, and Travis Scott, who was recently crying because he thought he had a 11,000 copies lead on Sabrina Carpenter for the number 1 album. But in a turn of events, Sabrina claimed the number 1 spot, causing him to run over to Billboard, accusing them of not counting 1,000+ copies. That would have given him the number 1 album. Now, he did all of that for his album to decline 97% on the Billboard 200 chart in its 2nd week, earning him the biggest decline in this decade. So yeah, should have kept your mouth shut, Travis. Streaming has really damaged the music business reputation in my opinion because it is so easily manipulated by anyone it appears. Ice Spice's career is tied to streams and impressions. That's what make her seem like a superstar. Also, TikTok played a huge part in her success. So when Universal Music took their music off the platform earlier this year, Ice was affected. Yeah, she signed to 10K projects, but Ice also has a deal with Capitol Records. And Capitol is owned by Universal. I know, complicated. Also, Ice's 40 million monthly listeners got cut in half in a year. And at the time of making this video, the rapper currently has 17 million monthly listeners on the platform. Stans and fans love to go on about who has the most monthly listeners on Spotify, but it doesn't mean anything. Currently, Celine Dion has about 1 million more monthly listeners than Ice Spice. Does that mean they are comparable? There was also a time when Ice had more monthly listeners than the Beatles. And as I mentioned earlier, they aren't making money from their streams. 9 months ago, the hip-hop legend Snoop Dogg said he was paid fewer than $45,000 for 1 billion streams. And we could go deeper into the stream shits. Right now, Spotify is removing artists for bots when these artists don't even have 1,000 streams. Some artists are getting paid more than others. Some artists aren't even getting royalties from streaming, although it's been reported that streaming has increased the music business revenue, which makes no sense. Like, the industry is crumbling. Music has become more of a side hustle that leads into other things that can actually get you paid. That's why we see a lot of product placements in your faves music videos. Example, Cardi B, Bongo's music video. That video is a literal ad. Or we always see the Beats Pills speakers in various amount of music videos over the years. And most recently, The Weeknd's music video flashed us at the end that it was filmed with an iPhone 16. So while we were all enjoying it, at the end we all then realized it was just an ad for an iPhone. Artists are releasing deluxe editions like a day after the standard edition in an attempt to drive sales, which is kind of crazy because back in the olden days, we only got a deluxe if an album sold 1 million. Then we would get the platinum edition, or if it's like a 1-year anniversary. Because of how bad the artist economy is right now, music is becoming a headache, resulting in a lot of re-releases. Recently, Travis Scott Days for Rodeo. It was originally released in 2014 as a mixtape, and 3:15:20 by Childish Gambino. That was released in 2020, and he re-released the project under a different title this year with a few added tracks and changes to the mix and track listing. Taylor Swift has been re-releasing her album since 2021. We are also seeing massive players in music selling their catalogs, which isn't new, but there are artists that we wouldn't expect. Shakira, Katy Perry, even Justin Bieber sold the rights to his entire catalog, and he did this in 2023 before he turned 30. Not even 30 and already selling and getting the hell up out of Dodge, allegedly. We are also seeing artists opting to do other things, stranger things for income instead of releasing music. Cardi B joined OnlyFans, where she made millions, over $40 million, and hasn't released an album since. And it's not only Cardi B who went on this platform that's notoriously known for pee. We saw Tyga went on there, Chris Brown went on there, Sukihana went on there, everyone went on there. Even I went. Rihanna doesn't seem to be interested in coming back to music in a major way, since the money she's making from her brand Fenty has made her a billionaire. Like, music can be a headache that doesn't even yield a profit, so why even come back? Beyonce has come out with multiple business ventures outside of music, causing people to wonder if she's money hungry. And to that I say, sure, she probably is, and why wouldn't she if she wants to stay rich? But the reason why we're seeing Beyonce come out with recently a hair care line and liquor is because the money from music is not really cutting it, and it cannot support her lifestyle. Remember, we see these celebrities live in these huge mansions, drive these expensive cars. Music is not paying for that. Music cannot pay for that. When you drive past her house, all the lights on, light bill high as fuck. And also, a lot of these celebrities, look at what happened to Juice WRLD, rest in peace, but he was low-key a drug dealer because allegedly the music is not cutting that check.
Juice WRLD's cause has officially been determined after he shockingly passed away last month. According to the Cook County Medical Examiner, the late rapper died from an accidental overdose of oxycodone and codeine. The Interscope Records artist, whose real name was Jared Higgins, went into cardiac arrest at the Chicago Midway International Airport and was pronounced dead at Advocate Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn, Illinois on December 8, 2019. According to police, Juice suffered a seizure while cops and federal agents searched his private plane for. Witnesses claimed Juice swallowed multiple Percocet pills, which contained oxycodone, in an effort to conceal them from authorities. Police and federal agents were called to the airport after being tipped off to a private jet carrying large amounts of narcotics. Authorities found 70 pounds of marijuana and 6 bottles of what's believed to be liquid codeine, but no passengers have been charged with drug possession so far. 2 of Juice's security guards were hit with gun charges after 3 handguns were discovered on the jet. Juice was 21 years old. He was laid to rest at a
Another indication that solidifies the industry is crumbling is how everyone is at each other's necks. Everyone is suing each other, snitching on each other, complaining about each other, starting lyrical beefs or trying to start lyrical beefs. The other day we saw people getting upset that Kendrick is performing at the next Super Bowl, saying it should have been an artist from New Orleans, like Lil Wayne. And I'm just like, since when rappers give a about the Super Bowl? Like, since when gangsters give a damn about the Super Bowl? No, they don't. They don't give a damn. It's the money. Because remember, once you go on the Super Bowl, your catalog goes through the roof. Because millions of people tune in every single time. We are seeing people like Dirty Diddy and R. Pissy Kelly finally getting what is coming to them because of the money is not being distributed anymore. And the pandemic is really showing us who really got it and who didn't. And I'm not saying victims shouldn't sue or, speak their truths. All I'm saying is this revelation is motivated by money, allegedly. The final nail in the coffin. The public is not so keen on giving their money to music anymore, or like they used to, as more of these sinisters and manipulation tactics by the industry continues to get exposed. Music was never meant to be commodified, because music belongs to everyone. Not saying people can't sell their music, or fans shouldn't buy music, or people should steal music. But can we just admit that the commodification, the focus, and the value of the dollar sign will bring the industry to a halt very soon? What do you think about this? I look forward to reading your comments. I am Don, your pop culture boy, and I will see you in the next one.